Hi everyone. I said a few weeks ago that I was going to make a video about genetic testing, and so I would like to still do that. It's going to be very short, and I'm just going to explain a little bit about what's involved with genetic counseling and genetic testing. Um, I went to see a genetic counselor here in Savannah, and this is a person who has a master's degree in genetics and also takes courses in psychology and counseling. And what he explained to me was that if your cancer has a genetic component, so if my breast cancer has a genetic component, then that has major implications for my children, especially my daughters, but even my son, if he were to have daughters someday, and my sisters and their daughters, and my brothers and their daughters. So what genetic testing is basically you have to go in and you give them your family tree, um, your parents, your siblings, your children, your first cousins, your aunts and uncles if they're related by blood, your grandparents, and anybody in all of that that you know of who has had cancer of any kind. And they draw this whole diagram and they label everybody, and then they look at the different types of cancers. Well, in our family, from people blood related to me, there are two other people who have had breast cancer, somebody who had pancreatic cancer, somebody who had uterine cancer, thyroid cancer, and lymphoma. And so that's a lot of cancer within just blood relatives. So they drew some tubes of blood and they sent it off, and it takes about 3 weeks to come back. And they tested my blood for 51 different genetic markers. One of the interesting things that the genetic counselor told me was that to think carefully about whether I wanted to get it done, because even though they were really testing it for breast cancer, he said what happens with some people is they come back with other cancer genetic markers and it's a shock to them. Like, let's say that the breast cancer comes back negative, but they say, hey, you have a positive genetic marker for pancreatic cancer or colon cancer or liver or kidney. And I just told him, we talked for a long time, and I told him that I really wanted to know. For me, knowledge is enabling and it's powerful, and so it would be better to know that there's a genetic tendency toward those things and then to make some even more lifestyle changes. We already try to eat a very healthy diet. We exercise regularly. I've been having more trouble with that lately because of how I'm feeling, but I told him I really wanted to know. And so we sent off the blood for genetic testing, and I actually did get my results today, but I'm going to put that at the end of the other video that I'm also posting tonight. So if you have a strong history of cancer in your family, you can always ask your primary care physician to refer you to a genetic counselor to see if maybe they think that you're a candidate to have the testing. You do have to think long and hard about whether you want to know that you have a genetic tendency for various things, because I guess for some people that could be very scary. But in my case, I really need to know because it has a direct impact on what kind of surgery I have when I'm done with chemo. So anyway, I hope this helps you a little bit, and that you understand a little more about why they do genetic testing.